Random House Audiobooks presents A Simple Path by Mother Teresa.
Whatever our views of Mother Teresa as a courageous missionary or a living saint, she has made a lasting impression. We all have an opinion about her. She has been recognized as an exponent of world peace and often appears on lists of the world's 10 most admired women. Yet she herself has never claimed to be or to be doing anything extraordinary. But how much do we actually know of her philosophy and her work? When we take the trouble to look beyond the public view, we find that her faith and her clarity of purpose give us powerful lessons in the ways of loving, serving, and respecting our fellow human beings, especially those who are poor and deprived. She practices what she preaches. She treads a simple path, and it can be followed by anyone. In the past, we have had extraordinary spiritual leaders, sent to us at times when the world urgently needed leadership and spiritual guidance. These people of vast spiritual strength were clearly linked to the divine, and in many cases were revolutionary in their teachings. One such figure was the charismatic St. Francis of Assisi. Born in 12th century Italy, St. Francis sold all his possessions to obey Christ's calling to repair his church. Initially, he devoted his life to living in poverty, wearing only a coarse robe, begging for food, and caring for lepers and outcasts. Later, he founded an order of friars and was influential in reforming the then very rich and frequently misguided Catholic Church. By the time of his death, he had gathered over 5,000 professed monks, priests, and nuns to carry on his work. Today, the Franciscan order thrives as one of the largest religious orders in the world. St. Francis was a radical in his day, even perceived as a heretic, because he offered a fresh view of the Christian life by living as a beggar, believing in providence, and closely following the teaching of the Gospels. But what was also unusual about him was that he reformed his own religion from within the institutional church, rather than by breaking away from it. Mother Teresa's life has many similarities with that of St. Francis. Her path is also through poverty, simplicity, and adherence to the teachings of Christ, and because of this, she has been viewed as a progressive in the present fundamentalist framework of the patriarchal church. Yet she preaches her love and peace in action in a world still devoid of strong female leaders, and from one of the largest, poorest, and most polluted cities in Asia. Mother Teresa received God's call to serve the poorest of the poor in 1946, and began in a small way by caring for one sick and dying person whom she found on the streets of Calcutta. Today, she is head of the Missionaries of Charity, a religious order which she formed with the Vatican's blessing in 1950. Over the last 45 years, when vocations have been slowly declining in the Catholic Church, the numbers of the Missionaries of Charity sisters and brothers have been growing and now total more than 4,000 worldwide. Sisters and brothers of the Missionaries of Charity practice their life of poverty with the absolute faith that this will bring them nearer to God. They trust and believe in His providence, and like St. Francis, live and work only through the generosity of others. Also, like St. Francis, they live what they teach, including not owning any more than the poor they serve. They eat frugally, possess only 2 sets of clothes, a pair of sandals, a bucket, a metal plate, the basic utensils, and sparse bedding. Their community life is built upon the words of the Gospel, the Christian way of prayer, love, forgiveness, non-judgment, humility, truth, and total surrender to the Word. A brief look at some of the landmarks in Mother Teresa's life helps to shed light on the many faceted parts of herself and on the aim of her work. Mother Teresa was born Agnes Gonja Boiadiu in Skopje, Albania, on the 26th of August 1910, the youngest of 3 children. She had a comfortable childhood. Her father was a building contractor and importer. Her mother was strict but loving, with a deep faith. After her father's premature death, life became harder, and to support her family, Agnes's mother set up a business selling cloth and embroidery. In her teens, Agnes became a member of a young people's group in her local parish, called the Sodality, and through the activities there, guided by a Jesuit priest, Agnes became interested in the world of missionaries. Her first call to a vocation as a Catholic missionary nun was when she was 18, and she picked an Irish order to join, the Narrator sisters, who were well known for their missionary work, particularly in India. From an early age, Mother Teresa wanted to work in India, but she went to Ireland first to learn English, and later to be transferred as a teacher to St. Mary's Loreto Convent School in Calcutta. This was on the 6th of January 1929, and when she took her vows as a Sister of Loreto on the 24th of May 1931, she chose the name Teresa after St. Teresa of Lisieux, known as the Little Flower of Jesus. Both of the decisions to leave her homeland and to go to the other side of the world, and the choice of Teresa as her professed name, are 2 essential clues to understanding Mother Teresa's strength, character and purpose. The fervour for not just becoming a religious, but wanting clearly to do missionary work, to go out and give the life of Christ to the people, is how she refers to this first call. The missionary life is one of zeal, with a clear evangelistic thrust and a strong belief in compassion in action. Mother Teresa's pioneering spirit was there from the start. Yet missionary work is not only about compassionate action, and Mother Teresa gives us a first sign of the contemplative side of her mission by picking St. Teresa of Lisieux as a saintly guide. The youngest daughter of a French watchmaker and his wife, Teresa entered the Carmelite Order of Sisters in 1888, at the very early age of 15, announcing that her vocation was love, and that one of her principal duties was to pray for priests and missionaries. Unable herself through sickness to be a missionary, she taught the ways of a healthy spirituality which was simple, generous, and orientated towards the essential truth of the Gospels. She wrote, "My little way is the way of spiritual childhood, the way of trust and absolute self-surrender." She likened herself to a ball in the hands of the child Jesus. Mother Teresa, on the other hand, takes a less playful, more practical view of her simple way of trust and self-surrender by calling herself a pencil in God's hands. In Calcutta, Mother Teresa taught geography and catechism at St. Mary's and learnt Hindi and Bengali, and in 1944 took over as principal of the school. It was a time of hardship, with food rationing and an increasing workload, and Mother Teresa, not ordinarily a physically strong woman, succumbed to tuberculosis. She was unable to continue teaching and was sent to Darjeeling in the foothills of the Himalayas. It was on the train, on the 10th of September 1946, that she received her second calling. The call within the call, as she refers to it. And when that happens, the only thing to do is to say yes. The message was quite clear. I was to give up all and follow Jesus into the slums, to serve him in the poorest of the poor. I knew it was his will, and that I had to follow him. There was no doubt that it was to be his work. I was to leave the convent and work with the poor, living among them. It was an order. I knew where I belonged, but I didn't know how to get there. It took a couple of years to gain permission to redirect her missionary service from teacher to servant, from a secure and comfortable community to having nothing except exceptional faith and remarkable vision.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?